So transcription is switched off. Yeah, the transcript, even if no swear words get said, it picks up and creates words that, yeah, are less than desirable. It doesn't mean that I don't swear, but it's less than desirable when it makes stuff up. Okay, guys, so the second assignment, so no dramas. In terms of the first one, I think we'll do exactly the same thing. Please remember this, and I will share what they've shared with the full-time group or the face-to-face group, because they write a test and an assignment is a set of case studies that would act as sort of a guidance for the test. I set up a series of questions for each. I will share those with you guys. It's good exam practice, and you'll see the approach in terms of the test. I'll do exactly the same in the exam. I've become quite accurate in predicting what will be in the exam based on the content of the actual brief that they give us, the case studies they give us. So in terms of this, you can see what we require, cover page, and I'm not, yeah, just give me a cover page, guys. I think get into the habit of giving a cover page, because I would obviously love to see you guys next year to do honors with us. Can I just see who would be interested in honors in distance next year? Chris, nice.
Okay. Me.
Lesego, Taylor, nice. Lesego, I saw as well. To just say, guys, I lecture quite a few of the modules. I also set the assessments for 3 of the modules. So I lectured 2 modules, but I also look after the research. I lectured the research module. So it really is worth considering. Think of qualifications as I'm going to say a triangle. And the more you climb that triangle, the fewer people you compete against. So please just remember to bear that in mind. You will hear from the marketing people, etc. And I'll give you the marketing people's number as we get closer to the end of the year. Right. Very nice, Caroline. Thank you so much for that. That's cool. That's very, very cool. Right, so please remember, guys, introduction and conclusion. It doesn't count a heck of a lot, but it's good to get into the habit of doing it. You'll also see in the exam, they expect an introduction, an overall introduction, and an overall conclusion. It's just extra marks, guys. And if you have 45 and you need 5, that's where the marks come from. Question 1, okay, 70 and 20. That is a huge question. 250 to 300 words, yeah, and then your references. Please remember, we want peer-reviewed references. I've not seen your stuff, but I marked honest stuff today where people were using, honestly, blogs and business balls and other things. We need to get into the habit of using peer-reviewed references. Okay, so Alt-Vest continued. Let's see what we have here. Right. So we're looking at competitive intelligence. If we go to the slides, and remember, guys, you have my slides. The one thing I will say about my slides is trust my slides. Even if you have the older version of the textbook with the new slides, it's more than sufficient. Also, when you study, I can't study from other people's prepared work, but my slides are very good to study from. They set up in the way that it's geared towards helping people study and prepare for exams. So let me grab my slides very rapidly, and then we'll go through it together. Other lecturers would have been all set up and ready to go, but I don't claim to be organized. So we're looking at Learning Unit 4, I think it is. Yeah, so strategic decision making. And we'll look at the question. Let me just make sure. It is this one. So if we look at the question very rapidly, right, brief introduction to strategic making and macro environmental analysis. So in terms of the introduction there, guys, remember when we talk about strategic decisions, and I want to jump to, I'll stick at that one. It's a pretty good slide for that first part of that question. So it's Learning Unit for slide number 5. So when we think strategic decisions, these are generally longer term. Now, in terms of the modern world where everything has gone completely insane, 2 years is now almost long term. But when you think of investing in terms of capital budget projects where the return on investment would be over 20 or 30 years, that's the kind of stuff that fits into strategic decisions. However, to also just say, with the world the way it is, and with Trumpism and all the tariffs that apparently will happen at, I think it's at 10 o'clock our time tonight, I think the reality is that we see the length of strategic decisions being reduced in terms of timeframes. But when we ask those decisions, the first one, it has a horizontal focus where you decide the range of products that you will be involved in. And if you think, and I'm so sorry to default to car manufacturers, and it's because my master's and my PhD is in that industry, but if you think of Volkswagen, and I don't know if they still make the Up, but if you want to purchase a Volkswagen, you have a range from the Up, and they will now say Polo Vivo, right through to the Touareg at the top, and in between there somewhere you'll have combis and microbuses, etc. So from a horizontal perspective, it is a decision on the range of products that we would include. To also just say, linked to each of those would be the services that you provide. So we know that every single car company will have its own finance department, and that finance department is often linked to a bank similar to Westbank. And those decisions are important. And then in terms of vertical focus, it is that decision on, do we manufacture internally? And we know that that's not the case anymore. And oh gosh, here we go again. I'm going to draw, which draws a lot of criticism from my students because, I take my art so seriously and it is so brilliantly done. But I think the modern world is very much based on, you have outsourced components being created elsewhere. And those outsourced components essentially will then be sent through, where most modern organizations, even though we would refer to them as manufacturers, they simply just assemble. So they Lego block things together. Now, the decision in terms of that kind of focus is, do we create our own inputs? Do we make our own materials? Or do we just Lego block things together? And it appears that in terms of creating the final product, but it very much appears that the current trend is that you outsource those decisions to companies that have the outsourced work as their core business. Poor Amy is struggling to get in. So in terms of vertical focus, where in the industry's value chain are we? Are we there to assemble, or are we going to manufacture? But we know that generally this is outsourced. And then where do we compete? So if you have companies similar to Google and Apple and those kind of major players, Microsoft, they are global companies. Most of those large M&Es and those really valuable companies are global now in terms of their orientation. So where do we compete? And from there to global. And then it's, how do we create this alignment? And remember, we spoke a couple of times about the need for an organization to remain in step with the external environment. And we spoke about the notion of strategic fit, which is that magic purple patch, almost sweet spot moment in time where what you have in the organization internally, in terms of resources, in terms of your mission statement, in terms of everything that we make available to the market, is perfectly aligned with what the external environment expects. And then we also talk about strategic flexibility, which means it is to attempt to maintain that fit as the external environment changes. So again, tonight at 10 o'clock, we see Donald Trump's announcement of the tariffs. And I think I'm going to stay up for that because I'm actually quite nervous about what the outcome of this will be for the rest of the world. I don't know if anyone has a comment on that, but the truth is, anything is that requires some sort of movement between here and America is going to become a lot more expensive. We also know that in terms of car and automobile manufacture, that car parts will move between Canada and America several times. Is that going to be every time it crosses a border, is it going to add another 20% or 25% to it? Very, very nervous about tonight. Okay. So in terms of the first one, guys, I would talk about that. I think for me, that is more than sufficient. What am I doing? Is more than sufficient to discuss that. So the first part is, oh, somebody keep track for me. Learning Unit 4, Slide 5. Can somebody just put that on the group for me, please? Right, and then we'll do our competitive intelligence cycle. Competitive intelligence, I think, as the name suggests, it's about tracking what happens in the environment, but having intelligence, and intelligence is more than information. Intelligence. Yeah, no, I saw that, Caroline. I mean, there's a significant boycott, and my favorite is that the one, and I think they're called governors in Canada as well, that provides electricity to the sort of northern parts of America, just put 25% tariff on it, and it nearly destroyed the people in that country, so or in those states. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see what will happen. So, guys, in terms of competitive intelligence, this is intelligence about the environment. It is, oh, sorry, and I see there's another part to this. Gosh, my apologies, I'm being an idiot. So, macro environmental analysis. Remember that is your PESTEL analysis. So don't tell me what you're going to do as part of a PESTEL analysis, but essentially a PESTEL analysis looks at how the different elements of the PESTEL components interact with each other, and also how, in terms of, we are making predictions about how they will change. And then obviously when we create strategies, we take those opportunities and threats that come out of your PESTEL analysis, and then try and capitalize on opportunities, but also counteract the threats. So the macro environmental analysis is your PESTEL analysis. In terms of the competitive intelligence cycle, hold on, let me find there. Competitive intelligence. Where is the cycle? I did see that. Yeah, we'll go through this when we'll go through this. Where is the cycle? It's here. So the strategic CI cycle. My slides, Learning Unit 4, slides 23. I'll go through this. Slides 24 and slide 25. Okay. So just to explain what competitive intelligence is, I think we know that when we look at competitive intelligence, the main difference between information and competitive intelligence is that competitive intelligence prompts us to act, prompts us to create a strategy, prompts us to make changes inside the organization in order to deal with whatever we've read in terms of the competitive intelligence. So you can see the stuff that comes out of doing competitive intelligence. It is an early warning system. We talk about those kind of, those smoke that appears in the distance, and we try and then figure out whether that is something we should be concerned about. So this is part of that kind of horizon watching activity. If you've ever sat on a beach and you sit on the beach over here, often a dot in the distance will appear. And over time, as the dot becomes closer, you'll be able to see what kind of boat it is. So what competitive intelligence allows us to do is, if you're the harbor master that looks into the distance and sees the dot, it starts allowing us to get ready for whatever the dot is once we start figuring out our next move. Maybe not the best example. So you can see the stuff, what our competitors are doing. It also allows us to check whether what we're doing is going to be enough to counteract other changes and threats in the environment. So in terms of the cycle, oh, come on. Right. So the first one is to determine the strategic decision to be taken. Now, in terms of the question, guys, if we look at it very quickly, please tell me what the decision is. So the decision is, do we add pork to our lineup? And you need to tell me that that is the strategic decision. So we know that this is a horizontal breadth decision because it's about adding an additional product to what we make available. So the first one is, do we or don't we, based on whatever comes out of the CI cycle. Once we've identified what we want to achieve, please tell me that it's step one and then what it is. We then look at key intelligence topics. Now, I haven't read the case study, which honestly, maybe I should have, but I really didn't. So if you think that deciding to add pork to your lineup, what would be the kind of things that you'll investigate? Because pork, obviously, will it offend our Muslim customers? So we would need to figure out whether this will cause problems in terms of our customer base, our halal customers. Okay. Other key intelligence topics, what would those be, guys? So definitely a halal component in terms of your thinking. Other key intelligence topics, what is the potential for demand for pork in the future? And does it fit with our other product offerings? So essentially what these key intelligence topics do, they allow us to determine the kind of information we want and where we get that information from. So if we think of Trump and the decision he's taken, one of the key intelligence topics I would want to know is whether there are any exemptions in terms of the tariff. Secondly, what can we do in terms of finding alternative sources in terms of where we could sell our products or where we could obtain our inputs from? The third one there, the collection plan. Be also very careful, guys. They love asking this as a standalone question in the exam. So just as a memory prompt much later, just put NB there or show NB next to the slides. It very much is a favored question that could be asked. So in terms of your collection plan, there are a number of sources. So primary sources where you go speak to competitors. Now, please, guys, this is not industrial espionage, and I think that's dangerous. And this is also not digging around dustbins outside your competitors' offices. I mean, that's the kind of stuff we want to avoid. But you can go speak to employees. Even if you hire a competitor's employee, ask them about the business, find out what is happening. Go look at what the regulators are saying in terms of new legislation, new changes in terms of policy, etc. Go speak to customers and hear what they say, and then your other stakeholders. Guys, generally, it is a mix between structured and unstructured. So structured, ask everyone the same question, but unstructured, where you allow people the freedom to have their comment. An interesting one, observation of competitors' facilities. This has become a lot easier with drone technology. So I know that companies use drones and they'll fly across a competitor's premises to see if all of a sudden there's a new factory or a new extension being built, because that's an indication that they're about to ramp up their product production or might be launching a new product. Guys, reverse engineering. Reverse engineering is where the moment Apple launches a brand new whatever the next number is down the road, someone from Samsung will buy that and they will break that thing down into its component parts just to try and see what makes it tick. And please don't think Apple doesn't do it with Samsung products. I promise you the next S, whatever the heck it is, the moment it launches, someone from Apple will buy it and they will break that down into its component parts. The interesting thing about that is that your software is the most difficult thing to actually crack. So often you can break the components down and see the physical makeup of a new product, but the software is sometimes a lot more challenging. Guys, and then mystery shopping. Yeah, I mean, we had a Spar open across the road from Pick and Pay near us, and I saw the some of the Pick and Pay guys there in their own clothes going to check out the competition. Mystery shopping happens all the time, guys, and then go and look at what's on their websites, what brochures are out there, and then go look at what patents are registered. I mean, the reason we have patent offices is to see how many patents and what direction their technology is taking. Guys, and then talk to employees. Yeah, and I think sometimes, and Apple are very good at doing this. They and I'm not a marketer, so my apologies for trying to use marketing terminology, but they create the sizzle before the product actually arrives. You know, you smell the brine meat before you get the actual offering. So often what happens with competitive signaling is that competitors let us know that something big is on its way, something new is on its way. Right. So again, please be a little bit discerning when you discuss this, guys. I mean, you might not use all of those. Okay. So look specifically at which ones are relevant. And then, yeah, the last step four there. And then you go and get your information. And once you've got your information, you evaluate it. And that evaluation goes back to those key intelligence topics, goes back to your original objectives. And then your analysis, most of it now, guys, is done. Oh, Mahira, I've already answered that to minus 25%. You'll get it when you get it, boy. I said I'm given 7 days. I'm sure you were here when I said it right at the beginning. Minus 25% for irritating me. Okay. And then just in terms of that, most of this is now done through AI, those analysis. Okay. Any questions on that one, guys? You will have yours, hopefully, Boyo, by this weekend. Okay. So you don't have to start this. I think there's a bit of time. When is this due? And I'm also not over time with the marking. When is this assignment to, do you guys? The 24th. Okay. Yeah. Guys, can somebody please put on the group just to take 25% of my here's an assignment one, just for irritating me. Okay. Any questions on that one? On the second part, why are you guys so quiet? Am I so impressive that you don't have any questions? Because you're the only people that would think that I'm impressive, because no one else does. Okay, guys, and then yeah. Oh gosh, okay. So a macro environmental analysis. Okay. For me, the easiest way to do it is to use this. I'll share this with you guys the moment. I'll stick it on the WhatsApp group now, actually. Hold on a second. Don't make excuses for my ear. It's too late, Jody. Don't fight his battles. He's lost marks already. Right, so where is my PESTEL picture? No, you should cry, boy. You should cry. I'm a vindictive old man. I promise you, nasty, nasty old man. Oh gosh, guys, I can imagine my evaluation coming and going, oh, worst lecturer ever. Okay, guys. Okay, yeah, it's a massive question. I nearly said the wrong word. Guys, I don't know if I've shared this with you before. Have I shared that with you previously? Okay, this is a wonderful way of doing it. Sorry, let me just put it on the WhatsApp group and then I'll quickly discuss it. BMNG7321. Okay. Oh, Carolina, thank you guys for updating as I'm talking here. Okay. Okay, hold on a second. Let me just stick this in here. Um, Hold on, it should be there now. What is quite nice about this one, okay, it's on the WhatsApp group, guys, is that you literally can use those words to introduce each of the pestle bits. So we know that when they ask for a macro environmental analysis, it is a pestle analysis. And you can say government policy might dictate that we are being anti-competitive, so it's something to be concerned about. From a social perspective, lifestyle and attitudes. Many people, from a lifestyle and attitude perspective, many people have opted for pork as a healthy alternative and a cheaper alternative to what lamb and beef is at the moment. Cultural barrier. We may lose our Muslim clients as a consequence of this. So if you look at this, guys, you can't go wrong doing that pestle analysis. You can't go wrong. I think for me, I would default to this. Okay, I would default to this immediately. Disposable income. We know that disposable income in South Africa has dropped, essentially forcing people to now opt for cheaper alternatives, and those cheaper alternatives would be pork. Is it making sense what I'm saying? Is what I'm saying making sense, guys? Okay, so easy enough with that one, guys. Yes, this is a long question, guys. This is a long question. So do the pestle analysis. I don't care whether you tell me that this is a political thing or an economic thing, etc. The one thing that you'll remember in terms of this, guys, that you're not going to look at your competitors, you're not looking at suppliers because that's in the market environment. We are only being asked to do the pestle analysis. So we're not asked to do a market environment, only a pestle analysis. So for me, I would default to that pretty picture there. You cannot go wrong. You cannot. From a health consciousness perspective, people are living or attempting to be more healthy. We know that pork is a healthier option. There's so many here that you can look at in terms of that. Okay. Can I just see who eats pork here? Because I don't eat pork unless it's bacon, because bacon's not pork. Jody, why do you eat? Is it a healthy thing for you, Jody? Or is it, okay, it doesn't really matter why. Chris as well eats it. Who doesn't eat pork at all? Don't know if we have people who do the mahir. Okay. Yeah, no, that's understanding. Love gammon. I've never had gammon. And I love bacon. For me, that's the level of pork that I'll eat. I'm assuming, Mahir, you're not eating. Is it like bacon? I definitely need to try. I can feel my arteries clogging when I talk about my bacon consumption. Okay, guys, and then, okay, so they must have given us a SWOT analysis in here. Have they? I don't even understand that question. Hold on a second. Oh, come on, Pelson. Let me try and read this again. Compare the outcomes of a SWOT analysis for both Altvest. Oh, geez, today, that is a monster question. Okay, so guys, you have to do a SWOT pre and a SWOT post. It absolutely make no. Yeah, no, well, it's a nonsense question, to be honest with you, Caroline. It's. I'm not allowed to say what I want to say, but it is. It's a. I mean, this is okay. So they want you to do a SWOT analysis for Altvest as it is, and then a SWOT analysis after they purchase Lula. Okay, I know what they want. So your SWOT, strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. Remember, guys, in terms of your SWOT, your strengths and weaknesses are always internal to the organization. They will always be about resources and your capabilities and those kinds of things, about finances, etc. External, remember, now you will include your market environment stuff, so customers and competitors and suppliers, etc. So what is the SWOT prior to? This is ridiculous. And what will it be once Lula is added? I don't know if anyone from the IIE listens to this recording. I'm pretty sure that I'll be unpopular, but I think that's what it is. Sorry, Caroline, I understand it. It just for me is a bit of a strange question. Okay, so some of the SWOT will remain the same. Yeah, well, the SWOT analysis doesn't take a lot of word count, boyo. The SWOT analysis doesn't take a heck of a lot of word count. I think let's agree in terms of the SWOT analysis. I think limit the SWOT analysis to your 10. 5 strengths or weaknesses and 5 opportunities and threats for both of those. So 10 and 10. Okay, I'll remember that I've said this. 10 and 10. Okay. And then based on all your analyses, whether it's a good idea to buy Lula. What the heck is this now? So based on that, tell me whether it's a good idea supported by some reasons. Any questions on that? So let's just go and find where all this information is. So the PESTEL, we know where the PESTEL is. Okay, so we have to go to the next learning unit. Oh my gosh, come on, Pelser. Hold on. So learning unit 5. What is this? So your macro environment, I've given it here. So your PESTEL analysis will come from, yeah, from about there onwards. Is that more political, legal? Okay, so don't worry about that. So the PESTEL stuff, I wouldn't even look at the slides. I would simply go and look at that nice colorful picture for the PESTEL. So it is learning unit 5, slides 11 to, oh, I've put it in here. Come on, man. Okay, to 18. I've actually given it to you guys there. Okay, I'm always surprised when I ever do anything right and in advance. So though that's where it is. So learning unit 5, slides, whatever I've just said, guys. 11 to, yeah, to 18. Okay, and remember, out of that will be your opportunities and threats. Your opportunities and threats will come out of that. Guys, I'm going to suggest, okay, so there is a SWOT analysis. So in terms of the SWOT analysis, we are looking at learning unit 5, still slides 28. I've tried to give enough information, 29 for more. No, just stick with slide 28, guys. Only slide 28. It will tell you what a PESTEL analysis is in here, but I'm not interested in that right now. Okay. And then for the next one, it is learning unit 6, and we will have our industry stuff in here. My suggestion, guys, use Porter's 5 forces. Okay, so we'll look at Porter's 5 forces in terms of the opportunities and threats component. Okay, so you're looking at learning unit 6 from slide 15 to, I'll go through it in a second. No, we won't have that one. To go to 24, guys. So remember Porter's 5 forces. Hold on, where is that? So in terms of Porter's 5 forces, so this would be the rest of the stuff for this question here. Where is that question there? So that would be the rest of the OT stuff. So you have to do that. So you can look at competitors and suppliers and customers and those kinds of things. Okay. Guys, in terms of Jodes, I don't know, Jody, what the word constraints are. It must be in the assignment. We can look at that together in a second. But this is a monster question, guys. This is several pages. Do they give us word constraints here? Oh my word, 1,000 to 1,100. I suggest brevity, guys. I suggest brevity. Okay. Carolina did understand the question. I just misread it. Okay, I'm not confused by it. Okay, so in terms of your competition, those would be your existing competitors. So when you look at opportunities and threats, what existing competitors are out there? I would imagine that it is the kind of industry where there are multiple competitors. Okay, guys, and then you would also look at your suppliers. Obviously, this one here. Oh my gosh. Yeah, new entrants. Now, new entrants are those companies that are sitting just outside the industry, trying to get into the industry. I can't imagine that there are too many new entrants in terms of our case study. And then substitutes. Now, these are alternatives. So we know, for example, a substitute to pork, it would now be the kind of, I suppose, plant-based food options. Those are definitely substitutes, where I would imagine meat and chicken would be considered substitutes as well. And then, guys, in terms of your customers or your buyers, are they major buyers, or are we dealing with individual buyers? Are we going to sell via the major players in terms of Pick and Pay and Checkers and those kinds of things? Do we supply to them? How powerful are they relative to us? And again, all of those creating opportunities and threats. And then just the last one here. No, I'm not going to talk. Don't put complementary relationships in. Just do the 5 forces. Okay, so competitors, suppliers, buyers, customers, and then your substitutes as part of that. Okay. So that's learning unit 6 and the slides there. This is yeah, it's a monster question, guys. Can I just say though, this is not difficult. It's just trying to reduce it to that. I'll give at 1,100, I'll allow another 110 words. So generally, I give 10% over to account for references, etc. You don't need to reference, guys. You need to reference the theory there, but you don't need to reference your SWOT stuff, okay? Because this is your own analysis. I don't want to see references in there. Don't tell me what a SWOT is. Just do the analysis, okay? And the PESTEL as well. You don't need to tell me what you don't need to reference it. 1,210. Thanks, Carolina. Maybe put it on the group. That is max, guys. So no more 10% after that. Okay. Any questions with this particular one? It's not bad, guys. It's not difficult. I think this is a little bit of a silly question. Let me put it there. I mean, I think it's a silly question. I really think it's a ridiculous question. Okay. Because your SWOT analysis will determine whether you buy Luna. Why would you do a SWOT analysis on a company that you don't know what will happen when it's part of your business? Anyway. Right, and remember the rubrics here. Get used to, 35 and 35. Okay, so nice balance between theory and application, guys. Right, and then the next one, strategy quickly, exposed to you're required to include a disclaimer of sorts informing constraints, limitations you faced. Okay, so declare all any and all the limitations of the tools and then other challenges that you faced writing. Okay, so we're going back to learning unit 4, guys. So there's one. I have a sneaky feeling, guys, this is something you need to go and do additional research. I don't think, and I can recall from previous years, this question being asked. Let me just see what is here. Yeah, no. Let me see what that is. Maybe I can share that if it's worth having. Okay, guys, what I'll do is I'll share these slides with you as well. I can't share all of those with you because they are publisher slides, and I don't think I'm allowed to do. Oh, yeah, no, I can't share those. Sorry. Hold on, let me do that. So there's limitations there. Let me see if there's anything else that. I don't know if it's worth having that one. You're going to have to do additional research for this one, guys. Just remember, I gave you a whole bunch of additional textbooks. I don't know if anyone's even looked at those textbooks. Okay. What I'll do now is I'll just quickly save this and yeah, Q2A2, question 2, assignment 2. Done. I'll just stick it in there, guys. It'll be on the WhatsApp group in the next second. Hold on. And Caroline, thank you so much for doing the sort of backup on the group as well. That's 25% extra. You can have Mahir's 25%. Okay, it's on the WhatsApp group, guys. Right. Any questions at this stage, guys? We've got a bit of time left. Any concerns there? It's not difficult. It's just, I think there's quite a lot of work, and I think there's a hell of a lot of editing that has to be done. So this is 300 to 400 words. So it's 400. Yeah, 400 plus 1115 plus, what is it? 15 and whatever the introduction is. Hey? Okay, so 1.8 and give 10% on that. Okay, guys, I'm going to stop recording so that we can keep that separate. Let's just wait for the